Okay, thank you all for coming out to the release party for the film Water Feature. Couple quick pieces of housekeeping. If you need to use a restroom, there's one in the back. Just go ahead and wander on over there. And then we have 2 upcoming events that I want to mention. Okay, if you like what happens tonight, you'll probably like this as well. Oh, sorry, this is a weird YouTube video. Don't worry about that.
What's the profile name on that?
We'll open it up. This video finds you when you enter creator mode. That's good. It's good stuff. Okay. Yeah, let's talk about that later. Talk to me about that after work. Okay, so on Sunday, May 4th, we're having a live happening for Buckaboo. This is where local filmmaker Jacques Boireau is going to be filming a flamenco dance segment of his upcoming film here in the shop. If you want to dress like a beatnik and show up and get a cameo, we might have live music. I'm not sure yet. We will have a partial VHS swap. It's going to be a very weird day, all day, 3 o'clock to 8 p.m. Okay. And then our other event that's coming up after that is Spectrum Between, the local film screening group, is going to be screening Hollis Frampton's Nostalgia and Michael Snow's Wavelength on 16mm film. It's going to be a really great time. We're going to watch a couple weird films. Join us. Okay, without further ado, I'd like to introduce our first performer, Christopher Adams. Oh, sorry, I can pull this one.
Seasick on beer, I fold an Ori dollar and put it in my mouth. The sky darkens as if the ocean leached upward into it. A band of water droplets on the window, like a view of the edge of the asteroid belt. Instant cat whiskers from the shower head, me reflected in the faucet, And how many images of me are there at any time in my field of vision? Headphones over each ear, like a pair of cushioned toilet seats. So is the ear hole the plumbing or the butthole? Cornflakes of wet gas float on the toilet water. A thread dangles from my cuff like fish shit. The lighthouses of the world stranded as if exiled chess pieces. The icy road the side of an eel. I walk, or maybe slippery skate, and see the fronts of cars patched with snow and road salt like barnacled humpback whales. Barnacle crust and coral reef of Belle Epoque theater interiors portray a sea spray ghost caught in a sunbeam, damned to cocktail umbrella emotions, the beach a slice of white bread. I go to the church fundraiser wet t-shirt contest. I zip around. I'm a centipede like a tiny Viking ship. Tampon walrus tusks in the deep end of the weekend. I see them and acknowledge the struggle. And then the tears down insides of eyes, like the flushing of mini soft toilets made of egg. The Challenger and the Challenger Deep, inhuman, inhuman, and inhuman in inhuman. So imagine an affluent fire pit in drizzle, scabs of smoked salmon, the endless bottled waters of geopolitics. Sip spring water LSD, sober clarity to the point of hallucination, the celebrity dream I tell everyone about, in person and online and now in person, is the one where big wave surfer Laird Hamilton told me, "You don't have to learn anything." quit art school and sell art supplies, like little aluminum watercolor tubes like sardines. And one day from the register, I saw a hatchback back window where the wiper left a filthy negative rainbow. And I think the body is the arc of the self. A bus turns a corner like a shark around a reef. On the iceberg of time, I think clock psychology thinking, but from the air vent an infrared waterfall. All the world weight crushes a bivalve in love, a laugh like a straw up and down in the lid, a raw shipyard in your chest. The full moon like a pot of boiling water, and inside in a real kitchen I wash my hands. Infinite soap bubbles slide down the curve of the sink. Infinite stars slide down the curve of the sky. How many boat dreams in a lifetime? Ghost masked in ghost mist. In a sauna, you're a vapor fetus, shocked into life by Lake Geneva active shooter, connected forever, a collection of moons around a gas giant. Like star-nosed mole noses, the fire sprinklers, I look down at a book, my eye on a map. I rappel down the flat coast. On a hill on break, I look down at the harbor. A distant container ship advanced imperceptibly, as if it kept vibrating at the edges to occupy each next position, like it was a shadow cast by the sun of something else somewhere else. Crows plunked daintily in a windy tree, as if riding a swell or waves or whatever. I don't know. I don't know either exactly what a saw wave is, but picture a saw wave Amish boogie board. Outboard engine or motor, that is the size of the constant engagement ring of the heart on Mainline Island. An off day because fake rain like a gust shook a wet tree, or real rain in a rainwater dog dish, or a trailer hitch on a nice car, so think boat or horse. But with the right combo in your system, you see this world wide open. Babes on land, babes on water, babes in air.
Christopher Adams, everybody. We have both copies of Christopher's newest book, Easter Weed Water, and also his previous book of poetry as well, hyperlinks. If you want to pick these up at any point, just Venmo Christopher. Okay. Let's go into our next act of Sean Christensen.
Hi. Wow. All right. Oh yeah. Christopher will need that for a moment. I'll tell you when it's not for. You guys better take a seat if you have one because it's going to be long. Okay. So, Maestro, if you would, what I'd like to start off with was I was given this assignment to really dwell and linger on some water for reasons that'll reveal themselves later. Man, if I thought I was jittery before, drinking a Coke that fast is not my huge. It's gonna be a wild ride. Okay, here we go. So, I started trying to write some poetry about water, and I've been doing this actually for several years. There's about 673 of these particular poems. Unfortunately, they got denser and denser as I went on, so I might only read one of them. This first poem I'd like to read to you is called Water Nora Apple. So these water poems are mostly focused on things that I love. This is actually my niece and my sister-in-law. So this poem goes as followed. Water, 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 Nora. Water, 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 apple. And I'll just, you get the idea. I'll show you a couple more, just because, I'm fairly proud of them. So I made this other one that's called Tree Sarah Water. You get an idea. They're pretty dense. They go on forever. Yeah, and then I made another one that I'll show you an example. This one's called, where is it? Gull Rock Sky Water. Yeah. Yeah, I got this Gull's lower gullet area, just in time. But yeah, it would take me, you guys would be here all night if I read this. But it's pretty good. I'm proud of it. I think it's a good poem. I started at some point thinking of these less as text poems and more of musical notation at some point, and so I started making these other ones. Try maybe Cape Water movie. Yeah. So I think of these kind of as music. So just watch that for a minute and kind of feel it out. Yeah, pretty nice, right? Yeah. But yeah, anyway, you guys here, you can take a look-see at these. These are originals. If you want to take them home, just drop a $5 on the counter later. It's all good. Okay. And then to pivot from here, as serious as I take these poems, I think I'm going to move on to a much more serious and dear topic. So what I'd like to do is talk to you guys about the Titanic. I don't know, raise your hand if you've heard of the Titanic. Yeah, that's a pretty good crowd. Okay, I think you guys are gonna get it. Little known fact. Go ahead and, can you open this one that says great grandma's image? There she is. Okay, so little known fact, this is my great grandmother, and she was on the Titanic. This is her in 1912, and I'm gonna read a dramatic poem about how I feel about the Titanic, and you can just look at her. She's cute. Let's see. Cue this up. Christopher on the little euchre here. All right. Over the years, as I get older, and time feels like a countdown that I would love to ignore while not losing sight of the idea that no tomorrow is certain, or to somehow always live nestled in that balance between these passing thoughts like two ships in the night, as said by the man with a last name of combined adjectives, potentially describing aging as time of a similar, time of the time of, common characteristics, time of a likeness to a time of time. I think about my great-grandmother on my dad's side, alive in her time, before my dad's time, before his dad's time. I think about her time as it pertains to mine. Had great-grandma at age 17 not survived her attempt to move to the United States on the Titanic as she did, being passed in the night from one shouting ship to a next, with death treading water between the closest ship to this shouting ship, ignoring the signals that used in metaphors Longfellow wrote 30 years before my great-grandmother was born. I would not have been myself as I am, born. I think about how she was real and survived reality, seemingly by chance. I think about how what she survived was so big that it would be compared to a natural disaster, a disaster bigger than humans, though man-made, a ship, like humans, also man-made. So big that Hollywood, an engine of humans, believed to be larger than life and projected as such, created a make-believe account 85 years after my great-grandmother's survival. That would be so big to be the biggest grossing movie for 12 years. A make-believe account that just happened to be also about a 17-year-old girl with a future, and in turn, affect a future of youth. My generation, and one after, by the enormous emotions of the gigantic movie, based on a real event that could have made itself the very reason that I would not be shaped by it. What was more likely? My great-grandmother to survive, or a massive motion picture succeeding monetarily and more in scale to be born in the wake of the real disaster? A generation, my generation, would mock fate in play, like singing Ring Around the Rosie. We would play Jack and Rose in a game called Titanic. In playgrounds and backyards, play sets everywhere, we would take your friend, maybe your crush, to the top of the playground slide, hold them from behind, or be held, and raise your arms, feeling a powerful, propulsive breeze that always felt so real against your face, your hair. A seagull always seemed to pass. Maybe it was a pigeon or a crow, fighting the winds. Passion unhinged, wells up, then giggling, then shouting. Then both of you at once, I'm the king of the world. All eyes on the playground would be on you, then smooth in the eyes of the participants as an expert sleight of hand, the one taking the turn of holding the other would lay stomach to the slide, gripping each other's hands, face to face, looking deeply, longingly, with love, as they imagine it, having life experiences ahead of them and little behind. Into each other's eyes, between glances to clutching fingertips, advanced players would kiss the hands, holding each other as long as they could. Then, in the same breath, the one would say, I'll never let you go, Jack. Fingers release, and down the slide, always feeling like slow motion, the body drifts, with the sound of metal pants rivets, belt buckles, and exposed belly skin rubbing against the metal or plastic slide, sounding eerily like the theater shaking foley work of a ship scraping an iceberg, and tons of steel and people being consumed by unfathomable waters. This always felt powerful to me, like death was watching as I was teasing safely by pretending invented characters' fates, that they themselves would be without a very real tragedy, that I, in a different state of death's hands, I wouldn't be. Without my great-grandmother's survival, her, a second-class passenger, passed from a giant to a smaller sinking vessel, to a sibling vessel, and then once more to another giant vessel. Before landing back on solid ground Earth, that is itself a vessel that is held to all the water by way of gravity, the propulsive curving of time and space that hold to each other like two hands clutched in embrace. All right. Thank you, Christopher. That was beautiful. All right. Next, I think I would like you to open up. Let's see here. So, maybe nothing yet. Yeah, okay. So what I want to go to next is the oddity of the Titanic and how much people love it is like pretty weird. It took me a really long time to realize like how strange like sort of passed down familial trauma is, and like how the Titanic is one for like a very small amount of people, like not that many people survived. And like it took me a while to recognize how often I think about strange events specifically equated to water. Like I think about my dad whenever he's in any body of water and how he is like not buoyant, and I'm kind of freaked out by it all the time. And then when he was super buoyant in very salty water, I was like freaked out in a different way. I was like, oh God, yes. And like, why, right? Like, where did this come from? It probably came from the Titanic. So, you know, and there are other weird things. Like, my great-grandmother, for instance, immediately the year after she survived, married a person that operated land-based transportation. He was like one of the first trolley car engineers in Canada. So pretty fucking weird. There's so many more things. Oh, like, I'm really fond of this picture of my mom and my dad hugging like a manta ray in the ocean. It feels like some kind of karma, thank you, like keep it going, don't let us drown, kind of deal. But anyway, I just want to share a few odd things here and there that I picked up, because every now and again I'll go on these big sweeps of research, because there's actually not that much of my great-grandmother that you can find. She did not like being interviewed about these things and wasn't interviewed very much. I think she was pretty like not into talking about it. And I want to show you a clip of I think maybe why, because there were Titanic conventions in like a lot of different states and cities or whatever that happened over and over again. Can you play the one that says, oh God, where is it? Titanic pervert with a fantasies of a ghost wealth? Yeah. This is like what you'd run into if you were like at one of these conventions.
It fascinates me. It's very dramatic, very romantic, very melodramatic. And aside from the fact that it's a great tragedy, many people died, there is still something that draws you to it. I think that this whole thing about all these people being on this one ship, and I think we tend to project ourselves onto the ship. We want to be John Jacob Astor, and we want to be Ben Guggenheim. So we're getting into those boats, literally getting into the boats. If you're lucky. If you're lucky, right.
Gross. This idiot, like, he's like, oh, I want to be these 2 millionaires who happen to die on the boat too. So beautiful. And then even further, can you play Gamer is a Psycho and Life is Meaningless? This is another example.
All right. Oh, wow. Are people... Okay, guys, FYI, there is fall damage. So I would not recommend jumping into this boat like that because you will just die. Cannonball! You will just die if you do that. So I would not recommend it. I would not recommend it. There we go. Ha ha! Wait, is it working? Yes, there we go. All right, everybody. I will see you all later. Farewell. I am boating away. Tony, lifeboat 15 before 13. Yeah, we're not exactly going for historical accuracy here, but all right, everybody. Farewell. I'm sailing away.
I like really wish that one was made by AI, but it's real. Okay. And I wanna I wanna also say that, like, in terms of this like odd obsession, like translating further into like the direct family or whatever of survivors, one thing that I find is that there's a video clip I'm gonna play from a movie now also that I feel like surfaces in my head like regularly, and this is kind of also how I see my own dad, and I'll show you like why in a moment. But can you play gosh, where is it? Obsession, generational trauma, being an artist.
Well, I guess you've noticed something that's a little strange with Dad. It's okay, though. I'm still Dad. I can't describe it. What I'm feeling and what I'm thinking. This means something. It's important.
Whew. So emotional. That shit gets me every time. Okay. So now I'd like to share with you. it should say, God, where did it go? I wonder if I put it somewhere weird. In the bigger, no, this is the whole thing. Oh, I might have messed it up, because this is everything, unless I put it in here on accident. Well, shoot. Okay, anyway, what I'll tell you is that after that clip, what I was going to show you was pictures of a giant Lego Titanic that my dad got for Christmas in, I think, 2 Christmases ago. And he was obsessed, like really excited about getting it. And all that my brain kept doing was going back and forth between that clip from Close Encounters of the Third Kind and my dad building a very extensive Titanic Lego ship. It's like easily like this long, and it breaks up into 3 sections so that you can, not to like mimic the actual break of the ship, which only broke into 2, but it breaks into 3 sections so that you can see the interior better or whatever. It's kind of weird. But anyway, it seems okay to me that he has this thing. It makes sense to me in some way, but it's also so fucking weird. And then the darker side of that, I'll share with you, which is this Titanic ad. This is not the ship that my dad has, but I just, this thing, it's so tasteless. Okay, go. How is this real? Like, they sell, you can buy this thing. You could send it to your family. I have to thank Sarah for finding that one. I had somehow never seen that before and was losing my mind upon seeing it. I wanna add also that there's like, for some reason, this particular company that makes these Lego-like objects is all pretty like sensual. I'll play you another one real quick. Play Passion Blocks. Yeah. Yeah, feeling that. It's pretty good. Yeah, so there's that. Okay, okay. Yeah, that was real. So now what I'm gonna do for you, I'm sure you're very excited, is I'm gonna read another poem, and we're gonna play some music if it's possible. There's a lot of other odd people who have made tasteful things about the Titanic, and then other survivors that have made amazing things in the world. More known fact is that, do you all know who Harumi Hisano is? Well, his grandfather was also on the boat, and he also survived, and he's the only Japanese person that was on there. And there's a lot of weird stories about him that seem to maybe all be false, not 100% sure, but I won't go into that because that's like a whole other world. But the other odd thing that happened is 1912, the year that it happened, there's a super famous author named Thomas Hardy, and I don't know if he was like really excited about like claiming some fame out of a tragedy or not, but what I do know is that he wrote a really beautiful poem, and I think it's really beautiful on 2 levels. One, it's legitimately full of heart as far as I can say, and 2, the language is real weird and really good. Like, the word worm is in there. Really good. Anyway, I'm going to read that to you over the top, of a minimalist composer whose name I'm spacing at the moment, made an entire album called The Sinking of the Titanic. And it's pretty beautiful, but humorously, the Aphex Twin was one of the only people hired to mess around with it after the fact. So, here we go. Oh wait, I have a video that has to play at the same time. Can you play the Titanic tragedy loop? Yeah. All right. Let the song get going a little bit. All right. This poem is called The Convergence of the Twain by Thomas Hardy. In a solitude of the sea, deep from human vanity, and the pride of life that planned her, stilly couches she. Steel chambers light the pyres of her salamandrine fires. Cold currents third and turn to rhythmic tidal lyres. Over the mirrorment to glass the opulent, the sea worm crawls, grotesque, slime, dumb, indifferent. Jewels in joy designed to ravish the sensuous mind. Lie lightness, all their sparkles, blurred and black and blind. Dim moon-eyed fishes near, gaze at the gilded gear, and query, what does this gloriousness down here? Well, while was fashioning this creature of cleaving wing, the imminent will that stirs and urges everything, prepared a sinister mate for her, so gaily great, a shape of ice, for the time far and disassociate. And as the smart ship grew, in stature, grace, and hue, in shadowy silent distance grew the iceberg too. Alien they seemed to be, no mortal eye could see the intimate welding of their late history, or sign that they were bent by past coincident on being anon twin, halves of one August event, till the spinner of the years said now, and each one hears, and consummation comes, and jars two hemispheres. And that's that. Oh, one other funny trivia note for your trivia night. So Thomas Hardy, who wrote this beautiful and strange poem, while being a famous author, as I said, a lot of his books were turned into movies over the years. And he oddly, in the late 90s, made a movie called Jude. And Jude stars Kate Winslet, which is pretty weird. And it's beautiful. And I was obsessed with this movie as a teenager, unknowing of this poem or any other odd connection. And me and my cousin were like fledgling. We wanted to be filmmakers. So we watched lots of wild stuff and talked about it. But we always referred to this movie as, it's called Jude the Obscure is the name of the book. But we referred to it as Jude the Man Who Cries, because it seemed like an anomaly that this man cried so much. He cries like through the entire movie, basically. Anyway, highly recommend, not the Titanic. I'm gonna pass the mic. Thank you for listening for so long.
Christensen, everybody. Now I'd like to welcome to the stage our last poet of the evening before we dive into the water feature, filmmaker Pinter.
Check, check, check. Check, check. Hello, hello. Check, check, check. I call that haiku sound check. I call this piece a haiku about the day I went to work and saw the new hire had the same pair of Keen Jasper low height sneakers as me. Paradise defiled. In utter devastation. Shoes mine, no longer. I call this a haiku about my perfectly curated Instagram Reels algorithm that is strictly baby monkeys in small clothes eating fruit, and their ultimate betrayal of my trust and adoration. Bliss, joy, sparkle, joy. Artificial monkey smile. Ew, yuck, yuck, yuck. I call this a haiku about my friends being disillusioned by my new and exciting stance that irony is dead, and I'm only interested in being pure and true. I am pure and true. How could you not believe me? It hurts my feelings. This is a haiku about being pure and true. Be honest. Be honest with me. Don't lie when I ask you this. What time is it now? Okay. This is an H word about my B word and how these stinking B words keep F wording me. Don't all you I words have something B word to do? I'm P-worded off. Alright, and finally, a haiku about water. Drip, drip, drop, drip, drop. Gurgle, bubble, swoosh, splash, splosh. Pitter, patter, plop. Okay, we're gonna take a quick break. I have my haiku books up here. We have my new one debuting today, Reese Haikus 2, and we also have Reese Haikus. It's number 1. And yeah, we should probably get stoned before this thing is much better this way.